XIII-The Coruscant big building halls and corridors. They force zip down the halls, coming upon Farja just as she starts to be beaten back by a renewed and redoubled offensive by the Dark Lord. His attacks are so furious and so fast that Farja is caught completely off guard as Lem suddenly spins in the opposite direction and twists off her head with his halberd-like saber. Her body slumps to the floor, then both body and head disappear, becoming one with the Force. Raza appears puzzled at this, but then Force grabs her blue saber, then looks up at Tal and Nalsa, who both rush at him screaming "NOOO" in unison. He simply slices a hole into the floor and drops down one level. Nalsa Force grabs her former master's green saber and reverently holds it, then ignites it, crossing both hers and her master's blue and green blades over her chest, then forward flips and dives into the hole. Tal jumps in after. SC-57 in Coruscant Big Building Game Room Day. They land on the table of an already interrupted game of Hollow Pool, its players visibly agitated, holding their cue sticks in angry threatening poses. Rent Solden, November 19, 2020. Tal, I sense he's gone 3 stories up that elevator shaft. SC-58 in Coruscant Elevator Shaft Day. Tal leads this time as they leap up from wall to wall, dodging narrowly the elevator going rapidly up. Tal leaps and slashes a hole through the elevator door and forward flips through, and Nalsa Li follows, also forward flipping. Both land on their feet and Force zip down the hallways. Rent Solden, November 19, 2020. SC-59 int. Chancellor's Condo, Sitting Room Day. Beating her side where the wound is, Mon Mothma holds a repeating blaster rifle and points it at the door. In steps Raza Lem. Mothma shoots at his head, but he deflects her blaster bolts and slices her rifle in half twice through with both blades, his red and Farja's blue. The halberd blade is not currently ignited. Then suddenly Lem flies backwards, and we see that Tal and Nalsa Li are Force pulling him back towards the door. He breaks their pull, spins around and uses the Force to slam Tal into the ceiling while at the same time pushing Nalsa back through the door. Then he brings the ceiling down on top of Tal and Force closes the door to the sitting room and jams the controls from the inside by shoving his red saber into them. But a shot from behind stuns him. Kayan across to see Mon Mothma still pounding her wounded side and holding a different gun. She moves quickly to remove the rubble from off of Tal, and he stands up, then she changes her gun to a different setting and disintegrates the door. She collects Raza Lem's lightsabers and lifts the man over her head, goes to her balcony and throws him down to the streets below. Then she takes what she tells Tal is a heat-seeking grenade missile and throws it down in the same general direction she threw Raza Lem. After a bit, an explosion is heard. That's what happens to cretins who try to as. Suddenly Tal and now Nalsa leap forward past Mon as they intercept a newly determined Raza Lem, who lifts a large balcony post and hurls it at the children, who barely are able to block it with their 3 sabers. Then he picks up the entire front of the balcony, which cracks right off and hurls it past the children right at Mon. The 2 children together use the Force to stop the balcony in its tracks and drop down just short of the Chancellor. They do this quickly, and as the Sith Lord is distracted, marveling at the Force strength of these 2 younglings, they use this opportunity to strike as suddenly Raza Lem finds himself impaled by 3 lightsaber blades, and he falls to his apparent death from 2/3 of a balcony, the life force slowly seeping out of him from his impalation wounds on the way down. Rent Solden, November 19, 2020. Mon, I don't believe it, he couldn't possibly have survived the first time, Nalsa Li, turning to face Mon, looking her in the eye. Never underestimate a Sith, Chancellor. Tal, fortunately, you should never underestimate a well-trained Jedi Padawan either, especially 2 of them. Winks. Mothma, oh, I can't thank you enough. Oh, I'm going to need to buy a new balcony. Rent Solden, November 19, 2020. SC-60 EXT Bakura Night. Hundreds of thousands of Imperial troops and officers are boarding several very massive star destroyers. A Palpatine clone addresses them by loudspeaker. Palpatine, just before my apprentice was killed, he transmitted a message that he intercepted an encrypted transmission that said the main resistance cell are now on Bespin, in Cloud City. Mount a massive offensive and obliterate that mining facility. I foresee the rebels will put up an effort to defend themselves. So rendezvous with several more Imperial fleets at the coordinates I am transmitting you and meet the rebels with overwhelming numbers. I will train a new apprentice. Go now. SC-61 Int. Coruscant Anteroom of Mon Mothma's Condo Night. The Mothma family is having family time, but the Jedi are still present. Jedi Knight HIN walks into the room. Last edit, July 17, 2021 at 8:30 p.m. by Brent Koivapolo 888. Posts, 3,446. Member is online. March 12, 2021 at 4:55 p.m. Post by Brent Koivapolo 888 on March 12, 2021 at 4:55 p.m. HIN, I just received an emergency transmission from the leading members of the Jedi Council. They feel it is urgent for you to send as many resistance fleets as you can to guard Cloud City on Bespin immediately. Mon Mothma rises to see to the task. Brent Solden, November 19, 2020. Wipe sideways to SC-62 Int. Hangar Bay Bespin Cloud City. Poe Dameron is suited up and boarding his X-Wing. ARTOO is pulled up into its side droid compartment. Rick Ali boards an X-Wing. POE calls out to him. POE, now the controls on an X-Wing are a little different from your average Naboo starfighter. Ali, I'll manage. I practiced in the X-Wing spaceflight simulator for several hours a while ago. Something just told me I needed to be prepared. Finn also boards an X-Wing, and REY boards a modified A-Wing, with BB-8 as her side droid companion. REY, Tendra and Lando, Jr. are taking a cloaked vessel to Coruscant. This whole city is being evacuated on hundreds of cloaked refugee ships. We are certain Cloud City shall be obliterated. POE, that's terrible. Let's stick it to the Imperials. SC-63 Int. Millennium Falcon Cockpit, Drydock Bespin Cloud City. Scenes 64 and 65 Int Millennium Falcon. Lando and Chewie man their stations. SC-66 Int Millennium Falcon Cockpit. Lando, snub fighters are too small even for today's cloaking devices, but due to our cloaking device, our sneak attacks should even the score a little, at Chewie. Chewie barks nonchalantly. Lando, my thoughts exactly. SC-67 Int. Millennium Falcon main hold. THREPIO sits at the game table with Luke and Sarah, watching holo trapeze artists. 3PO, human behavior is fascinating. I do hope R2 and the others stay safe. SC-68 Int. Millennium Falcon left gunwale. Ben, manning one of the aft guns, looks lost in thought. We hear his thoughts. Ben, VO stay safe my dear wife. SC-69 Int. Ray's modified A-Wing cockpit. We see REY lost in thought as well. REY, VO always, my dear, always. May the Force be with us. Cut to SC-70 EXT space. 20 massive resistance fleets come out of hyperspace around Bespin. Then suddenly an even more massive armada of Imperial ships decloaks all around them, surrounding them. Many of the Imperial ships looked suspiciously like Raza LEM's personal ship Shadow and Flame. Brent Solden, November 19, 2020. Scene 71-88 EXT space and Int various cockpit space. Int. Ollie's X-Wing cockpit space. Ollie, Silver Leader standing by. Silver 1 standing by. Silver 2 standing by. Silver 3, Silver 3 standing by. Silver 4, Silver 4 standing by. Silver 5, Silver 5 standing by. Silver 6, Silver 6 checking in. Silver 7, Silver 7 standing by. Silver 8, Silver 8 ready and waiting. Int. Raise a wing cockpit space. REY, Crimson Leader standing by. All Crimson ships report in by transmitting your tracking signal to my ship. POE, Red Leader standing by. All Red ships transmit your signals to my ship. Lando, Obsidian Chief checking in. All in Obsidian Squadron send your signals now. Finn, White Leader standing by. All marks on my mark now. Green Leader, a slender Huttese female, in French-like accented basic Green Leader standing by. All green ships send me your marks. Royal Leader standing by. All marks report in. Scout Leader present and accounted for. All marks on my mark. Painted Sky Leader, a male Twi'lek Painted Sky Leader here. All marks on my mark. Gold Leader present. All hands report in now. Rent Solden, November 19, 2020. SC-89 Star Destroyer Adjunctator 2 Bridge. A female admiral bows before a hologram of Palpatine. Admiral Dalla, Your Excellency, the rebels have amassed a huge army. Palpatine, it is to be expected. Wipe them out. All of them. But if you find the Millennium Falcon, capture it in your tractor beam and bring it into your hangar bay, and I will deal with its crew personally when this little battle is over. Understood? The death of Thrawn was unfortunate. You are my best now. Do not fail me. If the Millennium Falcon has a cloaking device, which I suspect they do, they will use sneak attacks. Find the source of these attacks using triangulation and bring that ship to me. As a reward, I shall give the ship to you. I hear it made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, and can make 0.5 past light speed. A worthy prize for one worthy to hunt and catch it, eh? Dalla, bowing low, it shall be done, Your Excellency. November 20, 2020. Rent Solden, November 20, 2020. SC-90 EXT Space. The air war is intense. The rebels assault destroyers constantly, emboldened by past actions of heroes past and present. Poe Dameron tries taking out as many of the shadow and flame-like vessels as possible, and rebel fighters ram destroyers like crazy, each kamikaze-style attack bringing down destroyer after destroyer, but there are hundreds more. It seems the rebels are fighting a losing battle. Meanwhile, super lasers from the shadow and flame-like ships are destroying giant resistance frigates and battleships, and even entire squadrons of snub fighters at a time. Rent Solden, November 20, 2020. SC-91 Int. Victor's Arm Bridge. Grand Admiral Akbar, create a perimeter around all remaining medical frigates. Don't let anything break through those lines. Red Group. Gold Group. Form up around Silver Squadron and swarm around that Superstar Destroyer at point 225. SC-92 EXT Space. The three squadrons plow through the ties and overwhelm and bring down the Superstar Destroyer, Emperor's Jewel. A small Corellian freighter exits hyperspace right in the middle of the battle. SC-93 Int. Cockpit of freighter Luck of the Draw. Colap HU, Lumpy, you didn't tell me there was a war going on here. Lumpy, his Wookiee co-pilot growls and barks. HU, okay, so you didn't know. Chewie just said come see Daddy on Bespin, you hooked up with me, and we came out of hyperspace right in the middle of a huge conflict between rebels and Imperials. I'm not getting involved. I'm a gambler, not a fighter, and I only make bets I know I'll win. And this is a lose-lose. Okay, Lumpy, I'm sending your secret family code now. Let's see if your father picks up on it. My guess is he's on the Millennium Falcon, which must be out here somewhere in this Millo. Brent Solden, November 20th, 2020. SC-94 Millennium Falcon Cockpit. Chewie looks up to see a certain symbol flashing on a holo that shows up in the Falcon's front viewport. He howls in anger. Lando, your son, out here in all this? We haven't even found a single opening for a good sneak attack. We've just been doing spy work for Akbar, who is too afraid of us giving away our position for us to strike. I feel useless. Now that we have a real mission, to find your son, I feel alive again, like we're actually out here doing something. Alright, come on Chewie, let's go. November 23rd, 2020. Brent Solden, November 23rd, 2020. SC-95 Ramdam home Coruscant lower levels. We see the figure of Raza Lem in a Bacta tank being tended by a 21B type medical droid. His impalation wounds, not in vital areas, are packed with a medical epoxy. A man stands looking on. His wife comes in. Wife, who is this? Man, I don't know. I found him moaning and writhing on our balcony. November 25th, 2020. Wife, oh, I do hope he survives. SC-96 EXT space. An A-wing blows up and a TIE fighter flies at us through the fireball. SC-97 TIE cockpit TIE pilot POV. TIE pilot flies around searching for his next target, which appears on his targeting computer. Brent Solden, November 25th, 2020. SC-98 EXT space. Now we can see Bespin in the background. It shines brilliantly. The shadow and flame-like vessels continue to pick off large targets, their beams too weak to destroy Bespin. Brent Solden, November 25th, 2020. SC-99 X-Wing cockpit X-Wing pilot POV. A hologram of Akbar appears on the right side if the cockpit. Akbar, Yellow 3 take evasive action. You have 2 on your tail. Go to Mark 582. Reinforcements should arrive in 8 seconds. Brent Solden, November 25th, 2020. SC-100 Millennium Falcon Cockpit. Chewie growls. A TIE is heading right for them. Lando, it doesn't see us, but it's too close for us to evade. We have to destroy it. Scenes 101 to 102 Millennium Falcon 1 of the Gunwells. Man tracks TIE and blows it up. SC-103 Superstar Destroyer Adjectator 2. An Imperial officer comes up to Admiral Dalla and says, Officer, Admiral, the Falcon has given away her position. She is right by us. Were we not also cloaked, she would not be so close to the range of our tractor beam. SC-104 Luck of the Draw Cockpit. Colap, where'd that blast come from? Lumpy barks excitedly. Colap HU, what? Chewie told you the Falcon has a cloaking device now? Hey, my scanners show that there is a tractor beam bringing something in right where that TIE blew up and we're caught in it too. I have a bad feeling about this. Brent Solden, November 25th, 2020. SC-105 EXT space. The shadow and flame-like vessels are starting to try to break the lines surrounding the medical frigates. As more and more large resistance ships go down in flames, many others bravely go to replace them as snub fighters try to reduce the numbers of the heavily armored and shielded shadow and flame-like vessels edited. It also seems like a losing battle. SC-106 Adjectator 2 Main Hangar Bay. PA System, Millennium Falcon and unnamed Corellian freighter. Prepare to be boarded immediately. SC-107 Millennium Falcon Hallway. As Lando and Ben place the Skywalker Solo children in the smuggling panels, Ben says, Ben, stay completely silent. When you haven't heard any footsteps for 1 hour, you may come out. Then stay in the ship and don't go anywhere near the cockpit. Understood? Sarah and Luke, yes, Papa. Brent Solden, November 25, 2020. SC-108 int. Adjectator 2, Hangar Bay. Imperial officers and stormtroopers approach the main door of the Falcon, which opens to reveal C-3PO. 3PO, oh, my. Pardon me. 3PO walks down the ramp slowly, passing the officers and troops, and going to the left of them. Then the group is thrown into utter confusion when out comes Lando and Chewie blasting away at them with their gun and bowcaster, and Ben, chopping them through and beheading the stormtroopers with his lightsaber. Meanwhile, guns from the luck of the draw have opened fire on officer and trooper alike, also taking out positions all around the hangar bay. Confusion and chaos ensue. Guns from above the hangar, poised to destroy the two ships, have already been taken out by Colap HU and Lumpy, not taking any chances. Smoke and dead bodies fill the hangar bay, and 3PO stands there in bewilderment, observing the carnage. Lumpy and HU exit the ship, and Lumpy and Chewie run to embrace each other. But the reunion is short-lived, for over yonder stormtroopers are setting up line upon line of laser cannons, and Chewie, Lando, Lumpy with his bowcaster, and HU work to take them all out before they are fully set up. A few are able to fire back, but Ben deflects all the blasts back at them. HU, I didn't want to get into all this, but Lumpy has a crazy idea that just might work, and if we can pull it off, this whole battle will be over. We need to get to the control room. Lando, I've been inside a Super Star Destroyer before. Follow me. Brent Solden, November 25, 2020. SC-109 EXT, space over Bespin. The intense space battle continues. More Star Destroyers go down, and so do more large resistance ships. SC-110 int. Adjectator 2 hallway. With Lando in the lead, Lumpy hot wires a door open. Just inside is an Imperial officer, whom Ben slashes, then spins and slashes two stormtroopers. Then as the rest blast away at more officers and troops, Ben deflects their blaster bolts, and slashes more troops and officers. They make their way forward slowly. Then Ben cuts a quick hole through the metal to their left, and they all go through into an empty hallway, then rush forward and Lumpy hot wires another door open. There is no one on the other side. Lando grins. Lando, you're making this too easy. Ben, Jedi should only kill when they need to, Lando. Now we mustn't try the turbolifts, they control them. He throws his saber up to the ceiling, and it cuts a round hole. He takes a smoke bomb from his utility belt and throws it up to the next level. Then, starting with Lando, he uses the force to lift each member of their group up to the next level except Lumpy, then leaps up as Lando and the others blast their way forwards, then Ben lifts Lumpy up. Brent Solden, November 25, 2020. SC-111 EXT space. The Resistance is running out of large ships to hold the lines protecting the medical frigates. In fact, even the snub fighters, though there are hundreds left, they started out in the thousands. SC-112 int. Victor's Arm Bridge. Akbar, hold those lines. Silver Group, protect those 3B wing squadrons at Mark 873. Brent Solden, November 25, 2020. SC-113 int. Ollie's cockpit. Ollie finds his target, lines up and fires two proton torpedoes that tear through three TIE fighters. Ollie, that's for Hoth and Cloud City and Alderaan. He finds another target and blasts it out of the sky. Ollie, CONT, that's for Luke Skywalker. He incinerates a third target. Ollie, CONT, and that's for Han and Leia. SC-114 EXT space. The dogfighting continues. November 26, 2020. SC-115 int. Adjectator 2 bridge. Dalla kneels before a hologram of Palpatine. Dalla, we captured two ships, and the inhabitants of both are giving us problems. Palpatine, the two parties are headed for your control room. Once they are there, lock them in and flood the room with dioxins. But make it very difficult for them to get there. Dala, yes, Excellency. The hologram fades. Officer, you didn't tell him one of them is a Jedi. Dala, I don't want to risk Palpatine's ire if he knew that I had led a Jedi aboard this vessel. Besides, that Jedi is only a man, and men can die. SC-116 into Judicator to turbolift shaft space. As Lando leads the way, the heroes use their sanction guns to scale the walls of the shaft, as Ben uses the Force to lift Lumpy swiftly upwards to the group, and they are fired upon by countless deadly lasers fired by various types of Imperials, which Ben also uses the Force to deflect back at them, taking out many as bodies fall down the endless shaft below. Ben nearly loses concentration and almost drops Lumpy, but regains his Jedi focus after Lumpy takes a small head-over-heels tumble. Ben Force grabs him once more and lifts him with the Force the rest of the way up. SC-117 int. Adjectator to supply room. A saber blade comes through a door and makes an arc. The door comes flying in towards us. The crews of the Falcon and Draw go inside the room and Ben rifles through supply crates until he finds 5 oxygen tanks with breathing masks, which he has each strapped to his back. Ben, I have a feeling we'll be needing these soon. Okay, let's roll. As they go down a hallway, slicing down barriers and finding ways past ray shields, and disposing of the occasional trooper or officer, Lumpy barks something to Lando. Lando, a tiny component has to be destroyed externally for our plan to work and you just now remembered Lumpy? Okay, I have to send a message with my comm link to Rey. She can take care of something that delicate. But my message will be picked up by anyone listening in on my comm channel. Too bad we didn't know of this plan when we were still out there in space. I didn't even know we were going to be aboard this destroyer, or that I would see you. Okay, I'll make the transmission now. SC-118 int. Rey's modified A-Wing Rey's POV. REY takes out tie after tie, lining up target after target. REY, Crimson Leader to White Leader. Finn, get these Imperials off my back. Finn, Vio, consider them toast. Lando, Vio, I need you to head over to Mark 330. There's a spot there on a cloaked superstar destroyer that I need you to surgically strike with the kind of delicacy only a Jedi Master can achieve. But be prepared for lots of resistance. The Empire hears us talking probably. REY, I'm on it. Crimson Squadron, White Squadron, cover me. Brent Solden, November 26, 2020. SC-119 int. Adjectator to secondary hangar bay. Dala and a group of Imperial pilots walk between parked ties. Dala, I'll handle this Jedi Master personally. Man your ships. We are one of the Emperor's elite squadrons. Victory is ours. Brent Solden, November 26, 2020. SC-120 int. Adjectator to control room. The door is sliced open, but the blast doors are coming down. Bodies of officers litter the floor. The heroes don their masks as the dioxins flood in. Brent Solden, November 26, 2020. Lumpy uses a computer kit to interface with the ship's onboard computer mainframe. Then he takes out a disk, which he inserts into a slot, and gets to work. He barks to Lando. Lando, to comm link now, in 5 minutes you will see red and green sparks. A short laser burst at a 45-degree angle right where you see the sparks will disable not only the ship, but every single Imperial fleet, not only the destroyers, but the TIEs too. They won't be operable for another year or two. REY, Vio, that's great, but 10 ships to my left just exploded into fireballs, and 2 to my right. Royal Squadron, I need your help. Blue Squadron, you too. Last edit, January 15, 2022 at 2:03 a.m. by Brent Koivapolo 888. Love is sacrifice. Brent Coivapolo 888. Administrator. Grand Inquisitive. Just got a cat named Galadriel. Posts 3,446. Member is online. March 12, 2021 at 5:18 p.m. Post by Brent Coivapolo 888 on March 12, 2021 at 5:18 p.m. SC-120 EXT space. The medical frigates are coming close to being breached. Admiral Akbar's ship looks on in horror at what might happen. A shadow and flame-like vessel takes aim at the victor's arm. SC-121 int. Poe Dameron's X-Wing pose POV. POE, oh, no you don't. SC-122 EXT space. POE sends 2 proton torpedoes which shred through the shadow and flame-like vessel's hull just as it is about to fire. SC-123 int. Poe's X-Wing cockpit. Akbar, VO thanks, Red Leader. ARTOO, beeps. SC-124 EXT space. ARTOO is currently fixing some parts on Poe's X-Wing. He welds some things together. Brent Solden, November 26, 2020. SC-125 in cockpit POE's X-Wing. POE, R2, you've been invaluable. I couldn't have done any of this without you. REY, VO come to Mark 325, Red Leader. Take your squadron and draw away some of these ties. They're kicking our tails. Blue Squadron is dropping like flies. There are only 5 left, 7 of Royal and just 2 of my Crimson besides me. White has nearly all survived. But we've taken heavy damage and White 8's our 4 unit has been blasted in half, edited. POE, I'll be there right away. Painted Sky Squadron, cover me. SC-126 EXT space. The 2 new squadrons come in out of Bespin it seems and drive the ties to distraction, harassing and destroying them one by one, sometimes 2 by 2. SC-127 int. Dala S modified tie. We see back of Dala S head as she prepares to destroy Rey's ship. SC-128 EXT space. Finn and POE suddenly come upon both sides of Dala S ship and fire upon it, flying in tandem with cockpits facing each other. POE passes under it, and Finn passes over it, and they give each other a big thumbs up and a grin. Dala S ship sparks a flame, causing it to rocket upward, away from REY. Finn, time to sparkle, girl. POE, make sparks fly. 2 sparks, green and red, appear. REY shoots her lasers with the precision of a Force user. Suddenly a huge Star Destroyer decloaks beneath them, and all around them the other ties suddenly stop flying, floating dead in space. SC-129 int. Adjectator to control room. All the lights go out as Ben painstakingly cuts his way through the thick blast doors. Other than the light immediately around his saber, all is dark. SC-130 int. Adjectator to hallway. All is black. Then we see molten orange and the tip of a saber blade as we see chunks of blast door falling to the floor in the dark. Blast bolts shoot through the hole from our POV but are deflected back to us, and bodies fall forward, some officers, male and female, some troops, also falling forward from our POV, their backs facing us. Finally, the entire new door is cut and with Griff in the lead, our heroes come towards us, down the hallway, deflecting more blaster bolts towards us and blasting towards us, and with more bodies falling from our POV, backs towards us. Last edit, March 20th, 2021 at 10:26 p.m. by Brent Coivapolo 888. Love is sacrifice. Brent Coivapolo 888. Administrator. Grand Inquisitive. Just got a cat named Galadriel. Posts 3,446. Member is online. March 12, 2021 at 5:22 p.m. Post by Brent Coivapolo 888 on March 12, 2021 at 5:22 p.m. Cut to SC-131 INT Adjudicator 2 hallway. Overhead shot of Ben in the lead, very dark, barely lit up by saber blade and blaster bolt, and our heroes stepping over bodies and reaching the next door. SC-132 INT Adjudicator 2 main hangar bay. Ben, get to your ships. Run. Run. As Ben deflects blaster fire and stops myriads of blaster bolts in their tracks, sending them back to the cannons, but still many blaster bolts get through, causing a maelstrom all about, our heroes hop and leap over dead bodies, running a gauntlet to get aboard the Draw and the Falcon, almost in complete darkness. On the way, Lumpy trips and tumbles over the body of a STORMPTROOPR, but his father Chewie fires his bowcaster all around where he fell, protecting him and escorting him aboard the Luck of the Draw. Colap HU is already aboard. Guns from the Draw start to blow the Imperial gun cannons away. The rest race aboard the Falcon. Its guns too start to wreak havoc all over. C-3PO climbs on board. C-3PO, wait for me. SC-132 in Millennium Falcon cockpit. Lando mans the pilot seat and Ben the co-pilots. The man and Rylothian woman who had been the other two gunners come into the cockpit. Man, the children were well behaved. They must have a good father. Ben, well, me and Ray try our best. Sometimes they can be a handful. Strap in, we're jumping to light speed from this hangar. Lando, set course for Coruscant. I think Chewie and Lumpy are going to Kashyyyk for a while, and I'll contact my wife and the others when we're on Coruscant. This battle is over. SC-133 into Adjudicator 2 main hangar bay. The Millennium Falcon turns around and faces the hangar door so it is pointing down, the screen reorients so we are looking out at empty space, then sky shifts into iCave enhanced modeled sky of a hyperspace lane, and we hear uproarious original John Williams scoring as we follow fast the Millennium Falcon on its way to Coruscant. Fade out. End credits. Brent Solden, November 26, 2020 finished 3:24 a.m. Now this thread is open to comment, discussion, and even constructive criticism, as I promised. Last edit, March 20, 2021 at 10:34 p.m. by Brent Coivapolo 888. Love is sacrifice. Brent Coivapolo 888. Administrator. Grand Inquisitive. Just got a cat named Galadriel. Posts, 3,446. Member is online. October 3, 2022 at 2:03 p.m. Post by Brent Coivapolo 888 on October 3, 2022 at 2:03 p.m. October 9, 2022. I changed the first instance of Marco Lopo Mon's husband to Perrin Mothma for now to be consistent with canon. I'll change the rest later. Love is sacrifice.